Hello, people. Today we have a small collection of 1911 slide stops to share with you. These are all manufactured by Colt out of Hartford, Connecticut. They're all taken from commercially manufactured, commercially contracted pistols, and they're all going to have serrations on the paddle here. So they're all going to be virtually the same, and they're all used. Here we see the wear from the barrel link and the barrel lug on either side. And then there we see wear from the slide stop detent in the plunger tube. So when the magazine goes empty, the follower rises up and pushes on this surface. So when the slide comes to the rear to eject the last round, this lug pops up right into that notch and locks the slide to the rear so you can eject your magazine and throw a fresh magazine in. This surface, or this cutout in the middle, is where the wall of the slide travels. So this lug serves to be actuated by the follower, but it also keeps the slide stop in the frame. And on the back side is going to tell us a lot about this part. The number 1 signifies caliber, so this means it's for a .45 ACP pistol. And why is that important? Well, it's the shape and length of this lug, the depth in which it protrudes into the frame. Each caliber, 40 and 10 and 38 and 22, they all have different dimensions to the follower. So this lug needs to be specific to the caliber. Other than the marking, the number 1 marking, we see machine markings and hand markings, hand file markings. So the wear mark right here tells us that when the slide stop is moving, it's only going up about this much. That's where it's touching on the frame, and that's important because you don't want this surface touching on the frame, because then the slide stop will be hindered and probably not work properly when it needs to. So when a gunsmith is assembling these at a bench, that's one thing that they need to be cognizant of, is how the back side of this slide stop is wearing on the frame. And just by looking at this part, it looks really clean, and it looks like the work was done well. Now when we go to this second part, which has all the same indicators, we see the number 1 is in a different position. It's right side up, and compared to this part here, it's a larger number, so it's a different die. But just the craftsmanship looks slightly more crude. The machine markings and it could be that the machine markings here were sanded away more to give a smoother surface, whereas on this part they weren't as attention to detail maybe was slipping a little bit more. On this third part, it has a radically different shape to the paddle. But it's the number 1, and then the file markings or machine markings. Again, it's like the die is wearing out now on the number 1, and whoever's doing the handwork was not as they just weren't making it as clean. Here's a fourth one. I think this might be an original finish. Same wear markings. The number 1, this is again another die, a different number. It has no base to it, but it's this removal of material here done on a mill or a CNC or something. This could be a 70 series part. I really don't know. I don't know what the era of all these parts are. These could be from 80s or 70s. It's really hard to say, but somebody that's seen a lot more Colt pistols than I have will probably notice or recognize a lot of these indicators and would probably be able to say, if you know, please put it in the comments below. I've never worked for Colt, so I really don't know where a lot of these parts came from. It's just things I've collected through the years. One thing I noticed on this specifically is that this paddle is a lot thicker. About 20 or 30 thousandths or more. But the back side of this pin and then the wear marks on this is very light, like it was taken from a new pistol. But the number 1 is a finer digit. It's got a base to it, and you can see the facet. And then just the craftsmanship in general is just really quality. You can almost see the dramatic removal of material to ensure the slide stop doesn't rub on the frame. I think this is older than all these, but I really don't know. It's a good question. It's the quality of this part is very superior. I've noticed on this one too, the first one from the second row is about as thick. And the finish looks original as well. And the craftsmanship on the back side is really quality. You don't see the machine markings, and you don't see a lot of file. There's a little bit of I don't know if that's a mill mark or a hand file mark, but either way, the number 2 signifies 22 caliber. And I haven't seen a lot of these slide stops, but I'm wondering if the line under the 2 signifies something specific. This could be from a service model from the 30s or a conversion kit from the 50s. I really don't know. This finish is matte. It doesn't look like it's very worn. This could be an original takeoff part from a new pistol. And this one's marked with a number 3, which means 38 Super or 9mm Luger. Here's another one that's got virtually the same finish and the same unused condition. I think these are new takeoff parts from new pistols. This one also has a number 3, and it has the same similar machine markings. It's slightly crude, but the removal of material here, like this 45 up on the top row, is very dramatic to ensure that there was absolutely no rubbing in this area. I want to say those are from 70 series pistols, but I really don't know. So this last one, I don't know what happened there. Doesn't feel like it's too much for this to be used. This feels like a fine part. It's maybe someone rubbed on it with some sandpaper just a little bit. It's got some use to it. But this is a number 4, and of course the number 4 means 40 Smith & Wesson or 10mm. So this could have only have been from, you know, the 80s or the 90s. And of course the finish. Thanks for watching, people.